The shelling tonight followed a meeting of diplomats in Paris that failed to push the two sides to a longer truce. Just before leaving Paris, Secretary of State Kerry acknowledged the degree of difficulty in sustaining a ceasefire.
Each side has powerful feelings about the history and why they're where they are. And what we're going to work at is how do we break through that so that the needs are met and we have an ability to provide security for Israel and a future, economic and social and otherwise, development for the Palestinians. That's what this is about.
Margaret Brennan is our State Department correspondent. She's traveling with Secretary Kerry and joins us now from Paris. Margaret, after a week of rather intense negotiations, where do things stand right now in terms of a long-term diplomatic solution?
Well, Jim, Kerry's returning to Washington without a ceasefire and no immediate plans to return to the Middle East. He says a broader framework is in place for when both sides are willing to stop firing at one another. But after meetings today with the Turkish and Qatari foreign ministers who are negotiating on behalf of Hamas, both of them said they'd be willing for more pauses in fighting, but no clear pledges of anything more than these temporary halts at this point. Hamas is very skeptical because they've seen past ceasefires fall apart. Promises of allowing more freedom of movement for Palestinians were not followed through on. Israel, for its part, rejected that offer of a 7-day truce, in part because it said it's not done with its military operation. They want to blow up more of those tunnels they accuse Hamas of using to smuggle in weapons. So Kerry's continuing to put pressure on both parties, but nothing in hand quite yet.
Let me ask you about another major development involving the State Department. The embassy in Libya, in Tripoli, shut down today. Embassy personnel evacuated. Any direct threat there?
No direct threat to U.S. diplomats or to the U.S. Embassy, but Secretary Kerry said it's the proximity of what he called freewheeling militias nearby the U.S. Embassy that led to this decision. This country has been on the brink of civil war for some time, and the Obama administration is very concerned given that fatal attack on the U.S. diplomatic mission in Benghazi 2 years ago that killed 4 Americans. So they decided to move all diplomats across land because of fighting at the airport. They weren't allowed to fly out. Kerry said, though, he promises the diplomats will return to Libya once the security situation allows for it.
Margaret Brennan with a very busy day on the diplomatic beat. Thank you, Margaret.